Have you ever wondered why a supercar designed to dominate the world ended up becoming one of the most controversial vehicles in automotive history? You probably know the Jaguar XJ220 as that sleek, low-slung beast from the early 90s that held the title of the world's fastest production car. But if you thought you knew the full story of this British speed machine, you're wrong. The truth behind the XJ220 is filled with broken promises, financial disasters, and engineering decisions that left millionaires furious. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why this 213 mph monster became both Jaguar's greatest achievement and biggest headache, including facts that even die-hard Jaguar fans have never heard. And stick around for the end, because we've saved a surprise detail about the XJ220 that involves a secret testing disaster Jaguar tried to hide for years. Number 20. The XJ220's development was literally a secret rebellion within Jaguar. According to official Jaguar archives, the car wasn't supposed to exist at all. In 1984, Jaguar's board had explicitly forbidden any supercar projects, focusing instead on luxury sedans. But a group of engineers calling themselves the Saturday Club began meeting after hours and on weekends to design their dream car anyway. Jim Randall, the chief engineer who later spoke to Car Magazine, revealed they worked without pay, bringing their own tools and even buying some materials with their own money. The group included just 12 people initially, and they had to hide their work from senior management for over 2 years. They built the first concept in a corner of the engineering workshop that was supposedly being used for spare parts storage. When they finally revealed their creation to management in 1986, instead of being fired, they were given a standing ovation. The board was so impressed, they immediately greenlit the project. Documents from Jaguar's Heritage Department confirm that without this act of defiance, the XJ220 would never have existed. The Saturday Club members later received special bonuses, but Randall admitted in interviews that they would have kept working on it even if they'd been caught and fired. Number 19. The original XJ220 concept was supposed to have a V12 engine and all-wheel drive, but customers who put down deposits got something completely different. Court documents from multiple lawsuits filed in 1992 show that Jaguar initially promised buyers a 6.2-liter vehicle engine producing 500 horsepower with a sophisticated all-wheel drive system. Customers paid deposits of $50,000 based on these specifications. However, when production began, buyers discovered they were getting a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 with rear-wheel drive only. The lawsuits revealed that Jaguar made this change without informing deposit holders for over 18 months. Tom Walkinshaw Racing, who co-developed the car, later admitted to Autocar magazine that the V12 would have made the car too heavy and too expensive to certify for emissions. The V6 actually produced more power, 542 horsepower, but buyers felt betrayed. One customer, a Swiss banker named Daniel Stuckart, told the Times newspaper he felt like he'd ordered a Ferrari and received a Ford. The legal battles dragged on for years, with some customers losing their deposits entirely when they tried to cancel their orders. Jaguar's own internal memos revealed during the court cases showed, executives knew the changes would anger customers but decided to proceed anyway to keep the project viable. The car's famous top speed of 230 km/h was actually achieved by accident during testing. Martin Brundle, the Formula One driver who was Jaguar's test driver, revealed to Motorsport magazine in 2010 that they weren't trying to set a record that day. On June 21, 1991, at the Nardo test track in Italy, Brundle was simply conducting high-speed stability tests when the radar guns clocked him at 213.1 km/h. The official plan was to reach 200 mph and back off, but Brundle said the car just kept pulling, so he kept his foot down. What makes this more remarkable is that the car wasn't even in optimal condition. Jaguar's own test notes displayed at their museum show the prototype had already completed over 40,000 test miles and was due for an engine rebuild. The tires were also not the final production specification. When they realized what had happened, Jaguar's marketing department scrambled to get official verification. They had to call in officials from the Italian Automobile Club at 3 a.m. the next morning to rerun the test and make it official. Brundle later joked that if he'd known they were going for a record, he would have tried a bit harder and might have reached 220 mph. Number 18, Jaguar lost money on every single XJ220 they sold, despite the car's price tag of $470,000. Internal financial documents leaked to Autocar in 1994 revealed that each car cost approximately $520,000 to build, meaning Jaguar lost at least $50,000 per vehicle. This calculation didn't even include the development costs, which exceeded $50 million according to Tom Walkinshaw Racing's accounts. The main problem was the hand-built nature of production. Each car required 300 man-hours just for the aluminum body construction. The specialized Connolly leather interior alone cost $18,000 per car, while the AP Racing brakes were $12,000 per set. Even more shocking, Jaguar had to buy back dozens of cars from customers who successfully sued them over the specification changes. These buyback cars were later sold at massive losses, sometimes for as little as 200,000 Slirun. Ford Motor Company, which owned Jaguar at the time, classified the entire XJ220 project as a strategic investment loss in their 1994 annual report. A senior Ford executive speaking anonymously to Businessweek called it the most expensive marketing exercise in automotive history. Number 17. The XJ220's body panels were so precisely fitted that Jaguar technicians had to work completely naked in certain areas of the production line. This bizarre fact was confirmed by multiple factory workers in a BBC documentary about British supercars. The aluminum body panels had tolerances of just 0.5 mm, and even tiny fibers from clothing could create imperfections in the paint. Finish. Workers in the final inspection bay had to wear special lint-free suits similar to those used in computer chip manufacturing, but in the paint preparation area where the bodies received their final cleaning, 2 technicians worked in a sealed room wearing nothing but surgical masks and latex gloves. The room was kept at exactly 23 degrees Celsius and had aerospace-grade air filtration. Abbey Panels, the company that built the bodies, invested $2 million in clean room technology just for the XJ220 project. This extreme measure was necessary because the car's paint, a special metallic formulation developed by ICI, cost $3,000 per liter and showed every microscopic imperfection. One former technician told Pistonheads magazine that they called it the naked room, and that working there was the strangest job interview I ever had. Number 16. Racing driver Tiff Needell accidentally destroyed one of the first production XJ220s while filming for the BBC's Top Gear program in 1992. The incident was captured on film but never aired, and Jaguar tried to keep it quiet for years. According to production notes obtained by Classic and Sports Car magazine, Needell was demonstrating the car's handling at the Bruntingthorpe Proving Ground when he lost control at approximately 140 mph. The car spun multiple times before hitting a barrier, causing an estimated $300,000 in damage. What made this worse was that it was car number 003, destined for an important customer in Japan. Needell later admitted in his autobiography that the crash was caused by a sudden turbo boost surge, a problem that affected several early cars. Jaguar had to completely rebuild the vehicle, delaying delivery by 6 months. The Japanese customer was told there had been a minor production delay. BBC producers wanted to air the footage as it was spectacular television, but Jaguar's lawyers threatened to pull all advertising from the BBC if they did. The Crash Footage Act was finally shown in a documentary 15 years later, revealing the XJ220 cartwheeling through the air in a way that would have likely killed Needell in any other car. Number 15. The XJ220's fuel tank was so large it could theoretically drive from London to Edinburgh without refueling, but there was a catch. It could only use Mobil 1 racing fuel that cost $15 per liter in 1992. Official Jaguar specifications listed a 90-liter fuel tank, giving a theoretical range of over 500 miles during highway cruising. However, the owner's manual strictly specified that only 98-octane unleaded fuel with specific additives could be used. Regular pump fuel would cause severe engine knock due to the high turbo boost pressure. Mobil created a special fuel blend just for XJ220 owners, delivered in special containers to their homes. The fuel situation became so problematic that Jaguar set up a special hotline for owners to locate approved fuel stations across Europe. One owner, speaking to Octane magazine, calculated that a full tank cost him €1,250, more than many people's monthly mortgage payments at the time. Several owners had auxiliary fuel systems installed in their garages, complete with underground storage tanks holding the special fuel. The Environmental Protection Agency in the United States initially refused to certify the car, partly because of these fuel requirements. though Jaguar eventually developed a catalyst system that allowed the use of regular premium unleaded. Number 14. The scissor doors on the original XJ220 concept were removed for production because they kept decapitating crash test dummies. This gruesome detail emerged from safety testing documents filed with the UK's Transport Research Laboratory. The concept car shown at the 1988 Birmingham Motor Show featured dramatic upward opening doors that became one of its signature features. However, when Jaguar conducted rollover tests in 1990, the doors would jam shut, trapping occupants. Even worse, in side impact tests, the door hinges would fail catastrophically, causing the doors to slam down like a guillotine, according to one engineer's report. 3 consecutive crash test dummies were damaged beyond repair, with their heads completely severed. The cost of these specialized dummies, $50,000 each, added unexpected expense to the development program. Jaguar tried 17 different hinge designs before admitting defeat and switching to conventional doors. This change disappointed many early deposit holders who specifically wanted the scissor doors. Tom Walkinshaw later told Car Magazine that keeping the scissor doors would have added 200 pounds to the car's weight and required a complete redesign of the roof structure. The conventional doors were actually faster to open in an emergency, potentially saving lives despite being less dramatic. Number 13. Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones ordered an XJ220 but demanded it be modified to carry his guitar collection, resulting in the only XJ220 shooting brake ever built. This extraordinary custom job was confirmed by Ian Callum, Jaguar's former design director, in a 2019 interview with Top Gear magazine. Richards paid $750,000 for the conversion, which was carried out by TWR's Special Projects Division in 1993. The car's rear section was completely redesigned with the extended roofline and a custom glass hatch. The interior featured special humidity-controlled compartments that could hold 6 guitars, including Richards' famous 1959 Les Paul. The modification added 150 pounds, but actually improved the car's aerodynamics, according to wind tunnel data TWR preserved. Richards specified that the car should still be capable of 200 mph with the guitars loaded, which required extensive suspension modifications. The strengths requirement was a built-in amplifier system so Richards could plug in and play while parked. This one-off XJ220 was used extensively, accumulating over 30,000 miles as Richards drove it between European concert venues. It was later sold at auction in 2008 for $1.2 million to an anonymous collector, making it the most expensive XJ220 ever sold at that time. Number 12. Sultan of Brunei owned 15 XJ220s but kept them all in different colors in climate-controlled bubbles and never drove any of them. This extraordinary collection was documented by British diplomatic staff who visited the Sultan's car collection in 1995. Each car was stored in its own hermetically sealed transparent sphere, with precise temperature and humidity control. The colors included standard options like British Racing Green and Silver, but also custom shades like Bruneian Royal Purple and Tropical Sunset Orange that Jaguar created specifically for the Sultan. According to shipping records obtained by Classic Cars magazine, all 15 cars were delivered on the same day via Russian Antonov cargo planes. The total cost, including transportation and the special storage facility, exceeded $10 million. What makes this even more remarkable is that as of 2020, when a British automotive journalist was granted rare access to photograph the collection, all 15 cars still showed delivery mileage, less than 10 miles each. The Sultan's handlers revealed that the cars are started monthly by a team of mechanics but have never been driven on public roads. Each storage bubble costs approximately $50,000 per year to maintain, meaning the Sultan has spent more on storing these cars than he paid to buy them. Number 11. The XJ220's windshield was so expensive that insurance companies would often write off the entire car rather than replace the glass. According to data from Norwich Union Insurance Company published in Classic Car Weekly, a single XJ220 windshield cost $14,500 in 1993. The glass wasn't just expensive because it was rare, it required special manufacturing techniques. Each windshield was made by Pilkington using a process developed for fighter jet canopies. The glass was heated and shaped over custom molds, then treated with a special coating that prevented distortion at high speeds. The installation process took 8 hours and required the entire dashboard to be removed. Between 1992 and 1995, insurance records show that 11 XJ220s were written off as total losses due to windshield damage from stone chips. One owner told Evo magazine that a small crack from a motorway stone chip turned into a $180,000 insurance claim when the replacement windshield installation went wrong, damaging the dashboard electronics. By 1996, some insurance companies simply refused to cover XJ220s, while others demanded annual premiums exceeding $25,000. Jaguar eventually commissioned a batch of 50 spare windshields in 1994, but as of 2023, genuine replacements are almost impossible to find, with the few remaining examples commanding prices over $30,000. Number 10. A drug lord's seized XJ220 was converted into the world's fastest police car by the Colombian National Police in 1994. Official records from the Colombian Ministry of Justice confirmed that the car, chassis number 2I22644, was confiscated from a cocaine trafficking ring in Bogota. Rather than auction it, the police decided to use it for high-speed highway pursuits. The conversion, documented in Colombian police archives, included installing radio equipment, emergency lights discreetly placed behind the front grille, and a reinforced front bumper for pity maneuvers. The car retained its silver paint but added small police decals. Between 1994 and 1997, this XJ220 was credited with 47 successful high-speed intercepts on the Bogota-Medellin highway. One pursuit captured on police helicopter footage showed the XJ220 catching a fleeing Ferrari F40 at speeds exceeding 100 km/h. The program ended tragically in 1997 when the car was destroyed in a shootout with drug traffickers who used rocket-propelled grenades. The two officers inside survived, protected by aftermarket armor plating that had been installed in the doors. Today, the burned-out shell is displayed in the Colombian Police Museum as a memorial to the war on drugs. Number 9. The XJ220's air conditioning system was so powerful it could reduce the car's top speed by 15 mph and trigger the engine management system to shut down. This wasn't discovered until customer deliveries began, according to technical service bulletins issued by Jaguar in 1993. The air conditioning compressor, supplied by Nipendenso, drew so much power that it effectively reduced engine output by 45 horsepower. Worse, on hot days, the combination of turbo heat and AC load would cause the engine control unit to enter limp mode to prevent damage. Owners reported that using the AC at speeds above 150 mph would cause sudden power loss. One owner nearly crashed at Silverstone when his car suddenly lost power exiting a high-speed corner. He had accidentally bumped the AC switch. Jaguar's solution, documented in workshop manuals, was to install a speed-sensitive cutoff that automatically disabled the AC above 100 mph. However, many owners simply had the entire system removed, saving 35 pounds. The system was so complex it required 3 separate computers to control, and replacement parts were sourced from Boeing aircraft suppliers. One Jaguar technician told Practical Classics magazine that the XJ220's AC could cool a 3-bedroom house and was complete overkill for a 2-seat car. Number 8. The XJ220 was originally going to be called the XJ221, but a numerology expert hired by Jaguar's marketing department insisted the name be changed. This bizarre story was confirmed by Jim Randall in his book Jaguar XJ220: The Inside Story. In 1989, Jaguar's marketing team was concerned about selling such an expensive car and hired various consultants, including a numerology expert from Hong Kong who specialized in automotive branding for the Asian market. The expert calculated that 221 added up to 5 in numerology, which meant instability and chaos in certain Asian cultures. He predicted the car would suffer mechanical failures and bad publicity with that name. The consultant fee was $15,000, which caused controversy within Jaguar management. However, when pre-orders from Asian customers represented 40% of initial deposits, executives decided to play it safe and stick with XJ220. Ironically, the car suffered numerous mechanical problems anyway, leading some Jaguar engineers to joke that they should have saved the consulting fee. The numerologist later claimed credit for the car's commercial success in Asia, though Jaguar never hired him again. Internal memos show some executives wanted to call it the XJ250 to reflect its target top speed, but the numerologist approved 220 as a balanced and prosperous number. Number 7. 3 XJ220s were buried in the Kuwaiti desert during the 1990 Gulf War, and one was later recovered and restored to running condition. According to U.S. military reports declassified in 2010, Iraqi forces discovered a Kuwaiti royal family member's car collection in August 1990, including 3 newly delivered XJ220s. Rather than let them be stolen, the owner's staff buried the cars in the desert using construction equipment. GPS coordinates were recorded, but the cars remained underground for 18 months. After liberation, only one burial site could be located. The recovered XJ220, chassis number 222123, was excavated by U.S. Army engineers who found it wrapped in industrial plastic and covered in cosmoline preservative. Despite being buried under 6 feet of sand, the car had survived remarkably well. Photos taken by military personnel show the car being lifted from its sandy grave by a military crane. Dawn Law Racing in the UK handled the restoration, documenting that sand had penetrated every component despite the protective wrapping. The restoration took 2 years and cost $380,000, more than a new XJ220. The engine had to be completely rebuilt, and sand was still being found in crevices years later. The car now resides in a private collection in Switzerland, complete with photos of its burial and excavation. Number 6. Jaguar secretly built an XJ220 with a manual transmission for Formula 1 driver Martin Brundle, but it was so difficult to drive that it was converted back to automatic after just 200 miles. This information comes from TWR internal documents and Brundle's own admission in a 2015 Goodwood interview. The standard XJ220 used a modified FF Development's 5-speed transaxle with no manual option. However, Brundle, who had extensive testing experience with the car, requested a proper manual gearbox. TBR engineers spent 3 months creating a one-off manual conversion using components from a Hewland Racing gearbox. The clutch alone weighed 45 pounds and required enormous leg strength to operate. Brundle later described driving it as like trying to wrestle an angry gorilla while solving mathematical equations. The gear throws were so long that shifting from second to third at full acceleration took nearly 2 seconds. During a test at Silverstone, Brundle missed 3 consecutive shifts and decided the experiment had failed. The car was quietly converted back to standard specification, but not before TWR engineers had spent an estimated $200,000 on the project. The manual gearbox components were retained by TWR and later displayed in their museum as a curiosity. Number 5. The XJ220's fuel pumps were so loud that owners reported setting off car alarms in parking garages from 50 feet away. This wasn't an exaggeration. Jaguar Technical Service Bulletin 9423 acknowledged the issue and offered a partial solution. The car used 2 high-pressure Bosch Motorsport fuel pumps that operated continuously while the engine was running. These pumps, originally designed for Group C race cars, produced a distinctive whine measured at 95 decibels, louder than a lawnmower. Multiple owners complained to Jaguar, with one Swiss owner successfully suing for hearing damage after his garage amplified the sound. The pumps were mounted directly to the aluminum chassis, which acted like a speaker, transmitting vibrations throughout the car. One owner told Octane magazine that his neighbors called the police thinking someone was using power tools at 3 a.m. when he started his XJ220. Jaguar's solution was to install additional sound deadening material, but this only reduced the noise by about 10 decibels. Some aftermarket companies developed quieter pump alternatives, but these couldn't maintain the fuel pressure needed for full power. The problem was so notorious that some European hotels banned XJ220s from their underground parking garages. Ferrari owners reportedly loved parking next to XJ220s because it made their cars seem whisper quiet by comparison. Number 4. A software glitch in early XJ220s would randomly activate the rear spoiler at low speeds, sometimes launching groceries out of surprised owners' trunks. This embarrassing problem was documented in multiple warranty claims filed with Jaguar between 1992 and 1993. The XJ220's active rear spoiler was designed to deploy automatically at 90 mph for increased downforce. However, a programming error in the first 50 production cars caused the spoiler to activate randomly, regardless of speed. Owners reported the spoiler suddenly extending while parked at traffic lights, in car washes, and even in their garages. The spoiler deployed with such force, using hydraulic rams designed for aircraft, that anything placed on the rear deck would be catapulted into the air. One owner's insurance claim, filed with Lloyd's of London, described $2,000 worth of crystal champagne flutes being launched 20 feet into the air at a country club. Another owner reported his golf clubs being ejected onto a busy motorway. The most embarrassing incident involved a member of the British Parliament whose XJ220's spoiler activated during a formal ceremony, flinging his ceremonial sword into a crowd of dignitaries. Jaguar initially denied the problem existed until a BBC consumer program caught the malfunction on camera. The fix required replacing the entire engine management computer at a cost of $4,500 per car. Number 3. The XJ220's development team discovered too late that the car's shape created a vacuum effect that could suck small animals into the engine bay at high speeds. This disturbing issue was first noticed during high-speed testing at the Nardo circuit in Italy. Test driver Andy Wallace reported to Autocar magazine that after a 200-mile run, mechanics found the remains of several birds and a rabbit in the engine compartment. The car's aerodynamics created a low-pressure zone behind the front wheels that acted like a vacuum cleaner. TWR engineers calculated that at top speed, the suction force was equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane. The problem wasn't just about animal welfare. Debris sucked into the engine bay could damage the turbochargers or block cooling vents. During one customer test drive in Texas, documented in legal proceedings, a XJ220 ingested a rattlesnake at 150 mph, causing the terrified owner to crash into a barrier. Jaguar's solution was to install mesh screens, but these restricted airflow and reduced top speed by 8 mph. Some owners removed the screens and simply avoided driving at high speeds in areas with wildlife. The owner's manual was updated with a warning about foreign object ingestion, possibly the only supercar manual to include such a caution. One Jaguar engineer darkly joked that the XJ220 was part car, part predator. Number 2, the XJ220 prototype that set the speed record was actually running illegal racing fuel and had its catalytic converters removed, facts Jaguar hid for over a decade. This revelation came from Martin Brundle himself in a 2004 interview with Motorsport magazine, where he finally told the full truth about the record run. The production cars were limited to 213, but Brundle admitted the record car was running on 102 octane ELF racing fuel and had a special engine management map that added approximately 60 horsepower. Even more significantly, the catalytic converters had been replaced with straight pipes, saving weight and reducing back pressure. Jaguar's press releases at the time claimed it was a standard production car, but internal TWR documents later revealed extensive modifications. The boost pressure was increased from the standard 0.7 bar to 0.9 bar, risking engine damage. Brundle revealed they actually destroyed 2 engines during practice runs the day before the record. When Italian officials arrived to verify the record, Jaguar mechanics worked through the night to make the car appear standard, even installing fake catalytic converters. The deception wasn't discovered until 2004 when a former TWR mechanic sold his story to a magazine. By then, the record had been broken by other cars, so Jaguar faced no official sanctions, but it damaged their reputation among enthusiasts who felt betrayed. Number 1. Here's the surprise detail that Jaguar desperately tried to hide. During secret testing in 1991, an XJ220 prototype exploded so violently at the Millbrook Proving Ground that it created a crater in the test track, nearly killing 2 technicians and forcing Jaguar to completely redesign the fuel system. This incident was covered up for years and only came to light through Freedom of Information requests by journalists investigating Millbrook's safety records. According to the official accident report filed with the Health and Safety Executive on September 14, 1991, chassis development prototype XJ220P4 was undergoing high-speed fuel system testing when a catastrophic failure occurred. The car was running at approximately 180 mph when a fuel line coupling failed, spraying high-pressure fuel onto the hot turbochargers. The resulting explosion was so powerful it separated the entire rear section of the car from the chassis. Witnesses reported seeing a fireball rise 100 feet into the air. The rear section, including the engine and transmission, was thrown 200 yards, while the front section continued forward with test driver Tony Rudder still inside. Miraculously, Rudder survived with only minor burns, but 2 TWR technicians monitoring from the trackside were hospitalized with blast injuries. The explosion left a crater 15 feet wide and 3 feet deep in the track surface. Jaguar paid Millbrook $500,000 to repair the damage and keep the incident quiet. The accident forced a complete redesign of the fuel system, delaying production by 6 months and adding $5 million to development costs. All production XJ220 tuners featured armored fuel lines and automatic fire suppression systems as a direct result of this near tragedy. That's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so you don't miss the next one. See you there.